Welcome back to the Wizard and the Kid Elton John album review show. This is GregsynthWizard.
And it's been a while.
Yes, it
I
has. I heard you got into a horrible accident. Is everything okay?
well, my exams went fine if that's what you're talking about. I passed everything, so I'm doing great.
That's good. I heard some things were happening on the other end. I was thinking, oh no, I hope everything's okay. If I could, I would have flown over and said hi, but I couldn't because there was Elton John tapes coming through my door, so I couldn't.
Yeah, I know. Elton John's live tapes are much more important than my well-being. Thank you very much
I
on that.
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking about tapes here.
Yeah, I know what we're talking about, and thank you. That did not hurt my feelings in any way, shape, or form. Thanks.
Oh, well, I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that your sense of humor is very much intact and that, you're able to talk and everything's good on the other side there. So, but there was also another rumor I was reading in the European United newspaper that I get over here in Michigan that it took you a long time to listen to Ice on Fire for some reason, like 2.5 months, 3 months or so. So that's probably the reason for the delay, or was it something else?
No, actually, it was that I listened to it within a week, and we set a date within a week. But you decided that you couldn't show up at that date, and that was the last date I had before my exam started, and everything got really busy, and I got swamped with work. So that's the reason for the 2 month delay. It's not my fault.
Oh, it's not my fault either. So we got to blame somebody.
Yeah, let's blame Elton.
Yeah, he's
Just for
doing
the heck.
Yeah, he's doing a world tour, so yeah, we got to blame him. So yep,
Yeah,
he's
absolutely,
he's the scapegoat in this. So
absolutely.
there we
Yeah.
go. And also, Boo Boo Kitty says hi, and he's doing great. He's sleeping on top of my tape deck right there.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Hi, Boo Boo.
Yeah. Hey, Boo Boo Kitty. Stan wants to say hi. You got it. Okay. All right. So, oh yeah, that's why we're here. We're gonna be reviewing because it's been so long since we did a review. How has it been? Let's see, like 4 months? Yeah, it's been about 4 months. I can't believe it. It's like,
Did you just open like Firefox or so to check that?
no, I did not. It must have been your connection that fucked up this time because I didn't do anything.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'll blame my connection this time.
Yeah, but it's been 4 months since we last did a review, so we're gonna see how it's gonna be after 4 months of not doing this. So this is gonna be a fun one.
I'm sure.
Yep. So we're gonna be reviewing Elton John's 24th studio album called Ice on Fire, which was released in November 4th, 1985. What a great year that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had Live Aid and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the great first leg of that awesome tour that we seem to like. So
Yeah.
yeah. So what we're gonna do now is now that we got all the little small talk out of the way, we're gonna give you a small little preview of one of the songs from Ice on Fire, and then we're gonna head back to what we think about the album. Does that sound like a good idea?
It's all right.
All right. See you in a few moments.
I found a blackberry on the street today. It was lying in the gutter all torn.
All right, welcome back to the Wizard and the Kid Elton John album review show. For Ice on Fire, I'll start by saying that I was listening to it quite a bit in the last week or so to kind of like refresh my memory and stuff because I've been kind of neglecting the studio stuff because I've been so focused on the live stuff and working on tapes and shows, this and that, media fire. It's like my head hurts, my fingers hurt, my mind hurts, my everything hurts. So I took a break from it for a day so I can listen to Ice on Fire once again and to do this album review show with you, Mr. Stan. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Well, great for you.
yeah, it is. And about Ice on Fire, released in November '85. It actually did not do too well over here in America. It kind of stalled on the charts. I believe it was number 48. It got on the charts, but eventually it went gold. So I guess there's something good about it. And it had a strong single over here. It had Nikita, which was a top 10 hit over here, and Wrap Her Up hit number 20. So we got he got some got two good hits off of this album. Unfortunately, the album itself wasn't well received. Um,
Yeah,
but
can't
about
have everything, can you?
yeah, it's like whatever happened. But hey, good news for you. It went gold in your country,
Hmm.
and it reached number 6.
I know. It did better in my country than in yours.
Yeah, by 42 spots. Wow.
But
Um,
actually, it had two great singles in my country because we also had "Cry to Heaven," which went really high and was actually therefore it was part of the Dutch version of the Rocket Man hits compilation. So that's an interesting fact of note.
yeah, and it took till June '86 for it to go gold, but no matter the sales and charts and how well the album did, commercially, we're still gonna review it because sometimes the song views are way different than what the sales reflect.
Yep, that's absolutely true.
Yep. So, I'll tell you what. Since I'm nice, I tried to be, especially with you around. Um,
Let's keep it that you try to be. Yeah,
yeah.
that's very smart. Yeah.
I'm gonna let you start with kind of what you think of the album, and then it'll go back to me, and then we'll start with the song by song listing. All right?
All right. So,
Take her away.
well, I'm sort of mixed about the album. It has some great stuff on it. It has some weak stuff on it. I'm not saying it's bad stuff, but it's weaker than what he's usually capable of. It's very, very 80s, and this was exactly halfway the 80s, so and you can hear that very well. There's a lot of synthesizer going on, etc., etc. And well, it differs from song to song, really. So your turn.
All right. That was a pretty fair, quick review. I like that. What I think of Ice on Fire. A very interesting album, a very interesting listen. I don't get bored listening to the album because there's just so much stuff going on that kind of hard to absorb it, and it's all over the place. It's a fun and interesting listen. I find it to be I kind of agree. I'm kind of in the middle. I like some of the album a lot. I don't like some of the album, and there's a couple tracks that I would have liked better if it weren't for like the production or something on the song or something. So I don't know how I would rank it. It'd probably be like you know average-ish, like in the middle. Because there's some people that love the album, and then there's some people who despise the album, like almost everything on it. And then I'm like kind of in the middle. I like some of it. I don't like some of it. But the stuff I do like, I really, really, really do like.
You know,
So
but what I think is very interesting is that Elton himself has said that this was one of his best albums in the 80s, together with Too Low for Zero. Usually, when you ask him for his two best albums from the 80s, he names this one and Too Low for Zero. Which I kind of find interesting because I wouldn't rank it that way. I don't think Eyes on Fire is his best work in the 80s. I think there are albums that are much better.
yeah,
For me, for me, it tends to be, lower on the rank list. Yeah, it's a little too 80s for me. But we'll get to the more detailed stuff.
Yeah, yeah. When you brought that up, I'm like, I completely agree that 2-0 for Zero is definitely one of his strongest '80s albums. That I will listen to that. I love that album. I will always recommend 2-0 for Zero. I think that is some of his best work ever. But as far as this album goes, I'm like, well, it's good you feel good about that, but I don't personally consider it one of his best '80s albums. In fact, I put it on like in the bottom tier for his '80s albums. I think most of the other ones in the '80s are stronger overall, with the exception of I'm going through the list. It's probably you know it's like probably the third weakest album he did in the '80s. Behind you know Jump Up, and there's a certain other album that we'll get to later that I don't really think too highly as well, but we'll get to that later. But no, I don't consider Ice and Fire really to be some of his best work. I like some of the songs, no doubt, but as a whole, no, there's better albums from the '80s I listen to more and recommend.
Yeah. So let's
All right,
let's go into the
all right,
songs.
we'll start. You go first.
Yeah, because the last time you went first.
That's right.
So, let's see. The first song is "This Town," which the first time I listened to this album and heard this as the album opener, uh, I thought it to be, especially the intro. I thought it to be very strange. I was almost doubting whether I actually picked up an Elton John album because it does not sound like your usual Elton John opener. It's a good song and I like it, and I especially like the live versions with Sydney '86 springing to mind immediately. Um, and I think the live versions are slightly better because they are a bit more up tempo and it fits the song better. The album version holds back slightly, um, but overall I think it's not that bad a song. It's very unusual, but then we know Elton to pull that stuff off more than once. But it's not at all a bad song, and I like it. I like listening to it, and I would rate it 4 out of 5. So there you go.
What a fabulous review, Mr. Stanton.
Always
Always,
at your
yes.
service.
I love it. But okay, for me, This Town, I love this song. For some reason, when I first heard this song, I instantly fell in love with it. It's up tempo. It's got some funk and gospel overtones in it. It's got R&B influences in it. The whole album is kind of a departure really from his previous couple LPs, because 2-0 for Zero and Breaking Hearts were more straightforward rock albums, because he had his original band with him. But here, whole different band here. We got because he changed the lineup again, and the sound is more influenced by like soul and R&B and gospel, so it's a completely different sound. It's polarizing. There's some people that love it, some hate it, and that's why I find Ice on Fire to be kind of like a transitional, unique album, regardless of which one thinks of the songs, because it's a very different sounding Elton overall.
True.
And this is one of my favorite songs on the album. I love the vocal delivery. And speaking of vocals, Elton is
The brass section.
yeah, I love the brass on this album. And speaking of vocals, Elton's changed his singing style again, compared with even the previous album. We now have Elton singing lower, singing into the bottom parts of his range now. And this is the last album until Sleeping with the Past where his voice is in top shape, because if you've heard stuff on the album after this, and to an extent the one after that, you'll know what I'm talking about. But but here it's this is the last album where he's like strong and robust before the surgery. Um, he does not do much falsetto if any on this album, but he does do have some strong highs on a few songs. It's mostly lower and some mid stuff, and it's a very robust, different side of his voice, which I happen to like actually. It makes him sound more, masculine sounding, and it's he's got a cool tone. And this is one of the songs that features that voice because he dips into his lower range. And as far as this town, love the instrumentation, vocals are great. One of my favorites on the album. I give it a straight 5 out of 5.
Okay. Well, I think that's a little high, but anyway.
All right.
Oh, by the way, this is like this town. You immediately hear it. It does, despite being it's a sort of strange opener. It does set the tone for the album really well because it has there's immediately like some layer of synthesizers. It's not as present as it will be on some of the other tracks, but there is a layer of synthesizers humming beneath beneath the other instruments. So you immediately hear that it's an 80s album. Just, interesting fact. Next song, your turn.
All right. Cry to Heaven. And I believe that this was the song you were referring to that was released on the Dutch version of the Greatest Hits because it did well over there?
Yeah.
All right. Cry to Heaven. Again, I think this is a very strong song. I love this song. And this is one of the songs on the album that's not really swamped with like the 80s sound, like the keyboards really. It's more organic sounding. It's got Elton's piano audible, and it also features, his new voice for the era where he's singing in the lower edges of his range. And I think he sounds really good on this, and I love the live versions too, even more than the studio. Because there's a lot of great live versions of the song on the Euro Tour of '86. The Rotterdam one's great, but as far as the studio one is concerned, I love the song. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. I think it's a very good song overall.
My turn. Just okay. I really like this song as well. As you said, it's one of the more organic sounding songs where you could actually hear Elton's piano and his piano playing. I actually don't really have that much to add to what you said. It's a great song. It's a very poignant song. I like it a lot. And I would actually rate it 4.5 out of 5 as well. I think it's a great song and one of the better ones on the album, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a strong song, and this is this does rank in the top tier songs for the album. I always listen to it. I love it.
Okay, so on to the next track.
Yes, sir.
Track 3, which is Soul Glove. Now about this song, I'm sort of mixed about it. I think it's a step down from the first two songs. I like the brass, the brass section on it, but it's a song that's sort of tearing me apart because I don't really like the main song, but once you get to the outro and to some extent the choruses, I do like those. If there's one thing I always remember about this song, it's the outro and the brass section. Those are the two things that immediately spring to my mind, and I actually remember the outro better than than I do the chorus, just because it's so catchy. But the rest of the song, I don't really. It's not bad or anything, but it's just I don't like it that much. So I'm gonna give this song. let's go 3 out of 5, just for the outro and the brass section. So there you go.
Oh, all right. Soul Glove. Funny you keep mentioning the brass because we have Rao de Oliveira on trumpet. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. On trumpets, David Patelli, who's on the saxophones, and we have Paul Spung and Rick Taylor on trumpets and trombone respectively, and Pete Thomas is also on alto sax. So this is a very brass heavy album. And most of those names that I mentioned were on Elton's 85-86 tour in the International Horn section. Onward International Horns, I think they were called.
Yeah,
So they went on tour with Elton and they added their playing to the songs, and it was a very unique sounding band.
yeah, I know.
And,
But we're
and
not here to discuss the tour. We're here to discuss the song,
that's right.
right?
That's right. Soul Glove. You know, I kind of sort of agree with you. There's parts about the song I really like. First of all, it's a very un-Elton like song. It doesn't sound like it could have been performed by him. It sounded like, it was recorded by, a completely different group, and then Elton came in and put his vocals on it or something. It doesn't sound like an Elton song really. I think the musicianship, especially the brass, is awesome. I like the playing. You name the outro, which is great. I love that. I like his vocal delivery. It's very cool and chill. Um, and I like the choruses of the song, but not really the verses as much. So it's kind of like an erratic song where I like parts of it, but not parts of it. It just sounds weird, like parts of the song.
Yeah,
I can't quite put my finger on it, but it just has that feel that it's like, you know what I'm talking about? It sounds weird.
yeah. I know what you feel and what you mean because I just said the same thing. But it's sort of it feels like it's two different songs as well because uh the verses are like really stripped down with just mainly guitar, what you hear in the background, and then suddenly the chorus comes up and the whole shebang kicks in. It sounds really strange, and then after the first chorus suddenly everything disappears again and you go back to the sort of stripped down approach, and it just feels really strange.
Yeah, so I give it a 2.5 out of 5, right down the middle. It's a mixed bag for me. I like some stuff and then some stuff I don't like about it. So I'll give it a mixed review.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah. Well, the next song is your turn.
That's right, Nikita, and this was the big hit in America. Reached number 7 on the charts in early '86 February. I had to cheat on my notes, and sorry, at least I'm admitting it. Um, I actually really love this song. This is, to be honest, this is my favorite song on the whole album. It's a very very nice kind of R&B-ish type song, very relaxing to hear. Elton sounds really really good on it. Very nice vocals, and hits some of his lowest ever studio notes, G's, G2 to be exact. And I remember when I first heard the song, I'm like, wow, he developed his lows. Because can you imagine 1975 Elton from 10 years before doing this song?
No, I can't.
No, no, I can't imagine young Elton doing it, but middle age and up Elton, of course. But yeah, I really love this song. It's a very special song to me as well because when I listen to it, it kind of reminds me of somebody. But I really, really, really enjoy this song. My favorite on the album, 5 out of 5.
Okay, so Nikita, which was Elton's last big hit here before Lion King came around and that happened. The other albums didn't do so well over here, but the other singles, I mean, sorry. But Nikita, I like the song a lot. It's not my favorite on the album. We'll get to that one in a minute, but I do like the song, and it's I love the song a lot. I like the live versions as well, but I like the solo live versions better than I do the band live versions. I don't know why, but when he plays it with the band, it's just they try to recreate the sound from the album, but there's just something missing, that little layer of production, or so some added synthesizers. I don't know what it is, but something seems to be missing. However, when he just does it solo with the piano and himself, that I do like a lot. One of the standout versions is, oh God, I hope I'm going to pronounce this correctly, but the 2001 Ephesus or Ephesus.
Oh, the Ephesus Turkey one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great version. Of course, I personally really like the 2009 Rotterdam version. It's not, his vocals aren't that well, but I really love his piano playing on that one. Because I was there myself. Uh,
Lucky you, I haven't seen Elton yet. Fuck you.
uh, well, some guys have all the luck.
Yes.
But I do like it a lot, and I do agree that it's a 5 out of 5 song. Definitely a standout. Yeah.
Yeah, and also one last point on Nikita. I think the reason why you like also why you like the solo versions better is because it brings out his great piano playing on it that's kind of buried on the record, and also brings out his smooth vocals too. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, but I just like this song more as a piano solo
Yeah, I mean
song.
it translates very well to just the piano and vocal.
Yeah, right. So, the next song, track 5, "Too Young." Now I've read some reviews of this album in which this track isn't thought of very highly, but I really really like this song, and for me this is actually my favorite song on the album. That's may sound really strange to some of you out there, but I just really like this song. I think it's really catchy, and the opening is really strange with just Elton's vocals and then the drums kicking in. It's really strange, but I like it a lot, and it's really my favorite song on the album. And I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 because I like it so much. So there you go.
All right, Too Young. For all the Queen fans out there, this features John Deacon and Roger Taylor on it, respectively, drums and bass and drums. So for all the Queen fans out there you go. Um, but for me on the song, for me personally, I hate to crush your heart and stuff, but I'm not really too big of a fan of the song overall.
Do it.
It's just
You
it. I, I'm sorry, but the thing is, it's like it's just something about it. It's I just can't really get into it. And it's like Roger and John could have offered their session services to a better song. It doesn't the song doesn't really resonate with me that much. I just don't like it. um I'll give it a 1.5 out of 5.
1.5 out of 5? Really? It's that bad?
I'm not a
Um,
fan, I'm sorry.
dare you?
I'm
That's
sorry. I'm just not a fan of the song.
uh, I'm just no. I'm not even gonna try and talk this right now. You're dead to me, man. You're
Oh, he said I
right. So the
know.
next song is your turn. So try not to mess it up this time.
Got it. All right, wrap her up. All right, for me, Rise Back in the Quality. I think much better song than Too Young. Features a little duet with George Michael, and it's very poppy, up tempo. This was another hit, you know, fairly about a moderate hit over here, reached number 20, I believe, in '85, and is it my favorite song on the album? No, but I think it's a pretty good song. It's just catchy, up tempo. It's one of those songs where you can't help but sing along. It's got that like playful nature about it. And then when it was played live, George Michael didn't sing on it, but it was Alan Carvel, one of Elton's backing singers, and he did a fantastic job on it too. For Wrap Her Up, I think it's a good song. I give it 4 out of 5. Um, and I also, it's one of those songs that I'll listen to a lot on the album, and I like it. I like it live, and there you go.
Right. So for me, this is a definite decrease in quality because I do not like this song. It's one of my least favorites on the album. Um, you said it's one of the songs you can't help to sing along to. Well, I do not.
Most people except for
I,
you.
I always skip this song. I will say that the live versions are slightly better than the studio version, but I do not like this song. The only thing I like about this song is the moment in the video clip where George Michael sings Kiki D and she, comes up in between them and then Elton smacks a cream pie in her face or something like that. That's the only thing I like about this song. I do not like this song. I don't know what it is. It's just uh, quite honestly, it's George. It will probably be George Michael's vocals because I do not like George Michael that much. In these years, his current voice I like better. But back in the days, no, I do not like his singing. And I do not like this song. No, it's too. For me, it sounds too mechanical. It's just these bass lines and drums. It doesn't work for me. No, it's for me. It's a definitely a skip song, and I'm gonna rate it. Because of the live versions, they are the saving effort. I'm gonna give it 1.5 star out of 5.
Wrap her up, take her home with me.
Shut
Wrap
up!
her up. Hey, I was honest. I like singing along with the song. And also, there's a 12-inch version of the song out there that's about 10 minutes long. So give that a listen to. I think you'll love that one. But
I have this itch. I can't.
Yeah, my stuff almost fell down. The cat almost knocked it over. I just caught it just in time. All right, so not a fan of Wrap Her Up. I take it, right?
No, definitely not.
All right.
It's one song I always skip. So
Okay, fair enough. It's okay.
the next one is Satellite, which I think it's an okay song. I like it. I like it a lot. I like listening to it. Well, once again, it's really strange because on most of these songs, I like the outros the best. It's one of the things that always come to my mind, and this is another one of those songs where if you ask me to sing one part of it, immediately what's coming to mind. Most of the time I'll start, singing parts of the outro. And well, I do like it. I don't think it's one of his best efforts on this album, but I do like it. It's a 3.5 out of 5 song for me. So there you
go. Okay. Satellite. But it's a very unique sounding song, very spacey sounding, courtesy of Fred Mandel's keyboards. It's very unique. It's strange. It's not a straightforward song, and the song itself is okay. But I think most of the praise I would give the song, at least for me, is Elton's vocal performance, because it's very dynamic. Starts off low and plays at the lower end of his range. Then he rises up into the belt register, and he belts these high notes in the chorus, and it's a very dynamic vocal. Probably his best vocal on the album, because it's just, it shows all of his voices. It's got his cleaner singing and a more, rougher sound. So it's a very dynamic vocal. And
True.
So yeah, I love the vocals on this song. The song itself is okay. 3 out of 5.
Okay. True. His vocal performance is, one of the best things. And, well, I also think Fred Mandel should get a lot of credit, because his keyboard playing sounds amazing on this song.
It's a very 80s, sounding song, but I think the production and stuff on this works for this song because of the way it's just structured, and it's very, spacey sounding. I think the whole, production and the 80s sound works on this song the best out of all the ones that have that, keyboard heavy stuff.
Yeah. True. So, next track.
All right, this is called "Tell Me What the Papers Say," and just to tell you, I do not like the song. I just can't get into it. It's very hokey sounding. Right when it starts, you hear the whatever it was, the keyboards. Don't like this. It's just very derivative, and I just can't get into the song. It's like, tell me what the papers say. I say a song failed. I do not like it. It's probably, it's in the bottom tier. Probably one of my least favorite songs I if not my least favorite. 1 out of 5. I do not like it.
Well, I will agree with you that it's one of the lesser songs on the album, but well, I don't think it's quite as bad as you make it out to be. It's not one of my favorites either, and it's one of the very few songs on which I will say that I do not like the brass section. What they're doing on the song, I don't like it. No, it's not one of the best songs. It's one of the least favorite songs, but I think it's a 2 out of 5 song. It's listenable. Unlike Wrap Her Up, I usually will listen to this song. Nod along with it. I do agree that it's sort of derivative song. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
I will agree, and it's definitely not a song that I would send people to if I want to show off Alton's songwriting skills. Absolutely not. But it's not as bad as you make it out to be, in my opinion. So 2 out of 5. There you go.
Got it. So go ahead.
Song, Candy by the Pound. It's an okay song. It's definitely better than Tell Me What the Papers Say, but it's also not one of my favorite songs. Once again, if you ask me to sing one thing of it, it'll probably be the outro. It's that's the thing that sticks with me most. Although the chorus on this one is also very very catchy. It's a bit too unlike Satellites. I do not like the synthesizers as much on this one. The brass section I think is fine what they're doing, but the synthesizers is just a bit too much for me in my opinion. It's sort of in the middle for me, so I'm gonna give it 2.5 out of 5. So there you go.
Wow, wow, you you must like the song a lot, compared with me because I don't like it. I I do not like the song. No, I like it even less than Tell Me What the Papers Say. I don't like it. Candy by the pound. He must have been inhaling a bunch of candy by the pound into his nasal cavity to write this song. I don't like it. I don't like the song. It's it's got that stupid, annoyingly catchy thing that you can't help but bobbing your head around, and I don't like the song at all. Oh, it's my least favorite song on the whole album. I don't like it. The song could just go away. I don't like the song whatsoever. 1 out of 5. I don't like it.
Wow, you have some suppressed rage about this song. You should see somebody for that. Really.
I'm a very happy person.
Right, next song.
Yeah, next song. Yeah. This one is called "Shoot Down the Moon," which, thank God, this song. What a step in quality. I think this is better. This is better than the previous few songs. Actually, hang on. One, two, three. Hang on. Let's see. One, two, three. I think this song is better than the previous 5 songs that I discussed. I love this song. This song was actually considered for the James Bond film A View to a Kill. Then they went with the Duran Duran song. I think this is a very melodic, nice ballad. What a contrast from some of the songs on this album. Very organic, just like Cry to Heaven. Love it. And I think Elton sounds great on it. He always does songs like this very well. Ballad type stuff, and his vocals soar on this. And I give it 4.5 out of 5. I love the song.
Interesting story about this song. A couple of years ago, I was talking about with my math teacher about being an Elton John fan. Which is something considered very very rare in the Netherlands, especially for somebody my age. And he was telling me that he had this album on LP, which once again goes to show that it was a very popular album in over here. And he actually said that "Shoot Down the Moon" was one of his favorite songs of all time. He really really loved this song, and he's not an Elton John fan whatsoever. He listens to stuff all over the place. From Vivaldi's seasons to Eminem's latest record. He's all over the place. But he said this was one of the most beautiful songs he'd ever heard, and he still listens to it to this day. So there you go. What I personally also like this song. I think it's one of the better songs in the album. As you said, it's like "Cry to Heaven." It's a big contrast with most of the other songs on this record. It's it's better than the last 4 songs we've covered. I'll give you that. But I really really love this song, and for me it's actually I'm gonna give this song 5 out of 5, because it's, by the way, a great album closer by Elton. You can say a lot about Elton's albums, but he does know how to open and close an album. Usually those songs are also some of the hidden gems. If you think about All Quiet on the Western Front and One More Arrow and The Fox, those are all amazing songs that are often overlooked. And this one actually, in my opinion, fits in that category very well. So it's a 5 out of 5 song for me. There you go.
All right. So as you said, this closes the main album, and there are some bonus tracks because the hilarious part
Yeah.
the hilarious part about this is when when this when this album was first released on CD in '85, it had Act of War on it, but and then on the '92 reissue, but not on the '99 version. They took Act of War off that and they put The Man Who Never Died, and then 3 live performances of Restless, Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word, and I'm Still Standing.
Mm.
And then on the CD remasters from 1999 and the original CD, there was a longer intro to Satellite compared with the LP, and vocal mixes differed slightly, and well, just that's a little random, useless info. I just wanted to fill some time. But we're gonna start with the bonus tracks, and
Yeah.
the first one. Wait a minute, it's an odd number, 11. You start.
So which one is this? Because it's either number 11 on my release or it's number 11 on your release. Uh,
It's at well on the list here. I got Act of War comes first.
okay, so Act of War. It's not. It's a track I had never heard before we settled up to do this review, because it's not on my reissue or on my LP. I have the live versions and The Man Who Never Dies, which we'll get to in a minute. Act of War. Quite honestly, I don't like the song. I've not. I listened to it immediately after you sent it to me, and I listened to it again, today to prepare for the review. And in between that time, I have not listened to it. It's actually like most of the album. It's very 80s. It's very quick, and I no, I don't like it. It's it does fit the title, I guess, because to me the way they sing it does sound like what's it, shotguns firing, or something like that. But I don't like the song. I listen to it now to prepare for the review, but I will not listen to it again probably. So there you go. I'm gonna give this song, vocal performance is all right. 2 out of 5. There you go.
You'd give this song a 2 out of 5, yet give Crap Like Too Young extremely high ratings.
Yes, because
Yes.
I love Too Young. I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what it is about the song "Too Young" that makes me like it so much. But ever since I first listened to this album, it has been my favorite on the album. I can't help it. It's that simple. Sometimes, yeah, I think it's what they call a guilty pleasure. A song that is not very good, but you like anyways. Well, there you go.
Yeah, like the Victim of Love stuff, guilty pleasure there. Um, but okay, I'm gonna do what you did while I talk about Act of War. I like Act of War. I don't love it, but I like the song. It's very catchy. It's got a cool vocal duet with Elton John and Millie Jackson. And yeah, 2 fingers, Yeah, I got Elton and Millie. But I think the song's pretty good. No, I just like it. It's really catchy and up tempo, and don't drive while listening to this because you tend to go too fast, and I almost cost me, but I managed to slow down in time. But I like the song personally. 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't you just go fuck yourself while you talk about Man Who Never Died?
Oh, the man who ever died. Oh God. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I on camera? Sorry. Okay. Excuse me. Hey, you said yourself. Um,
But you
uh,
never listen to me anyways. This is the
uh,
first time you've ever listened to me. So
well, I went to rehab, so um, and they kicked me out, but I learned a couple things. But okay, the man who never died, which is on your reissue, right? You said you have the '99 one.
yeah.
Okay, man who never died. It's a it's an instrumental song, and it was written about John
Well,
Lennon.
not completely.
Not completely. It was written about John Lennon, um, and is and it's for me it's kind of fillery. It doesn't really do much for me. I mean, it's cool to put it on for like background music, and maybe if you're stuck in an elevator, you could hear it playing in the speaker or something. But it doesn't really do much for me really. I don't think it's terrible, but it's just no, it doesn't really do much for me. If I wanted to hear something written about John Lennon that Elton did, I'd go to Empty Garden because I think that's a first class song that deserves lots and lots of praise. But as far as this is concerned, not really too big on it. I give it 2 out of 5.
Right. So, just to sum this up, you give songs like Wrap Her Up, An Act of War, high ratings, and you say you don't like this, you would listen to this in an elevator. You consider this to be equal to elevator music?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
Right. I see you have a beautiful white corner back there in the screen. Why don't you just go stand there? Because you've been a very naughty boy.
Okay, while you tell me what you think of the man who never died, I'm gonna go in that corner. All right.
Yeah. There you go. So, guys, the man who never dies, who never died. I'm sorry, my bad. I like this song a lot. I think it's a great instrumental, and I do love it a lot. And no, go back,
What?
go back. Right, I do like it a lot. I think it's one of Elton's better instrumental tracks, and I would actually give this 4.5 out of 5. When I'm in the sad mood or when it's a rainy day, I love listening to this song, especially in combination with "Song for Guy." I will agree that "Empty Garden" is the better, John Lennon tribute song, but seeing it apart from being a tribute to John Lennon and just an instrumental, almost instrumental. I really, really like it, and I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5. I love listening to this song on a rainy day. So there you go. And while he's goofing around in his room, and I hope he's getting back now. And if he's not, no, he's not. Okay, so I'm gonna round up the review in that case. Oh, by the way, live versions, love the live versions they put in the reissue. It's kind of strange because why release only these 3 live tracks. It's a bit strange, but I love them a lot. I think "I'm Still Standing" is one of my favorite live versions ever from the Wembley Stadium track. So there you go. That's my whole opinion on the Ice on Fire album, including bonus tracks. So
I couldn't hear what you were doing. So, what would you think of the live stuff of the man who never died?
well, you'll just have to find out when you watch this tape back, won't you? Because you have to edit this whole thing. So, rounding up, I think this is one of Elton's, quite honestly, one of Elton's lesser efforts. I don't really come back to it that often. Usually, and when I do, it's usually I pick out the tracks that I do because most of side two you can, in my opinion, you can skip over because it's not that good. Um, but once in a while I'll give the complete album a spin, and I don't mind having to listen to it. It's not like something like "Victim of Love," which is how and you're bored before the first sneak ends. But afterwards, it's very aged. You can definitely notice that this was an '80s album. And viewing it in that context, it's not that bad. But looking at it from this point in time, it's not one of my favorites. Your turn.
My turn. Okay. Ice on Fire. Now, on the main album, I prefer side one. I think side one, although side two has some stuff I like. As you can hear, there are songs I really love that I rank very high, and then there's songs I don't like at all, and
I have no idea what's happening. Okay, so when we finish this review, I'm gonna find out what the hell that was, because I have no idea what just happened. It was my surround system, but I don't know what started. So I'm sorry for the interruption. Please continue. But keep it short.
wow.
And that's the time we have. So, thanks for tuning in to the Wizard and the Kid. This time we'll see you hopefully within
wait a
3 months again.
Wait a minute. All right. Okay. What I think of. Why did you play that? Were you trying to drown me out? Oh, I don't have to hear the Wizard anymore.
I don't know what that was. By the way, you were dragging a bit because most of the stuff you were saying you already said, so that's why I said keep it short,
Okay. Alright. Okay. Ice on Fire. There's songs I like, love. There's some I'm on, and others I hate. Attest. I do think it's not his best work. I would put it as a mid, like a lower mid-tier album where it's got some good stuff on it, but some stuff that not really too big on. But it is what it is. But it's not a total loss. It's got some good stuff on it, and I'd like to reiterate a point you've made that I always will agree with. Elton's openers are always good on albums, and the closer on this album is fan-fucking-tastic.
like on most albums.
Mhm. So there we go. I think it's a mixed bag album.
Yeah, I very much agree. So, I think that's it for this time. So we'll see you again somewhere within the next 4 months.
That's right.
And
We'll be back within 4 months, hopefully sooner than that. But you'll never know with Stan's schedule because he does a lot of stuff outside of the thing here, where it makes the time go by really slow. So who knows when we'll next do a review?
yeah, well, it happens.
Hmm.
So we'll see you again soon. And thanks for watching.
Thanks for
Oh, by
watching.
the way,
Oh
let
yeah.
us know who won this review in the
I won.
comments.
I was more passionate. You know who won. You
So,
put the victor down there. Yeah.
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 So
Mhm.
if you think that Act of War was a great song, yeah, vote for him, and all the people with good musical taste can vote for me in the comments. So
Right,
I'll
right,
see
right.
you again
All the deaf
very
people will
soon.
vote for you. So there you go.
We'll
Yeah, we'll
see.
we'll find out who's deaf and who's not deaf. All right.
Right. So see you soon.
See you soon.